Hey everyone! Today, I'll review the Pan Spatial Argonas, which is a legendary Tier 3 ekranoplan that is currently on sale in the Seas of Prey event. As usual, we'll be going over its stats, armaments, and how it performs, and at the end, I'll give my opinion on whether it's worth getting or not. Here are the fully upgraded stats of the ship. The ship's durability matches that of the F-126, which is higher than most Tier 3 frigates, but significantly lower than most destroyers in Tier 3. Its speed is way higher than that of Swordship, making it the fastest ship in Tier 3, while its maneuverability is similar to that of Kylan. The radar range of the ship is slightly higher than that of SMX-31 and RF Belgorod, which is significantly higher than most of the ships in Tier 3. Finally, its sonar range is the same as that of JS Maya and Type 83, which is significantly lower than that of Hangzhou. Here are the armaments of the ship. The ship is equipped with 3 missile batteries, 1 cannon, 2 torpedo launchers, and 4 air defenses. The locked missile of the ship, which is the AM-222 Plasma, has a maximum damage of 7,150, a maximum range of 8.7 kilometers, a maximum reloading time of 7.70 seconds, and a maximum ammunition of 11 pieces. This missile launches 8 missiles in a volley, but the burst damage of this missile is lower compared to the locked anti-ship missile of FS Blue Shark. However, it is greater than the burst damage of the MLRS of Swordship. The locked cannon of the ship, which is the Argonas EMRG, has a maximum damage of 10,400, a maximum range of 13 kilometers, and a maximum reloading time of 5.60 seconds. This cannon is weaker than Zumwalt's railgun. However, unlike that railgun, this cannon fires more shots, resulting in a greater burst damage output. The locked torpedo of the ship, which is the AT-3, has a maximum damage of 12,350, a maximum range of 6.9 kilometers, a maximum reloading time of 7 seconds, and a maximum ammunition of 20 pieces. This torpedo is closely comparable to the Japanese Torpedo Type 12, and the Chinese Torpedo U-7, being slightly less potent than the latter, and more powerful than the former. The locked air defense of the ship, which is the Phalanx Edge Seawiz, has a maximum damage of 52, a maximum range of 2.3 kilometers, and a maximum reloading time of 2.45 seconds. This air defense is just as good as the Russian 3M89 Palash air defense system. The firepower of the ship is decent, you can deal a fair amount of damage with it, with each of its offensive weapons having a significant part of it. The ship is very similar to the FS Blue Shark in terms of armaments. Both ships have nearly the same offensive armaments, with the sole difference being that Argonas lack autocannons. They also share the same quantity of these armaments, and both possess a locked missile that significantly contributes to their overall firepower. However, if we compare their firepower, the firepower of Argonas is weaker than that of Blue Shark. This is of course because of the lack of autocannon, weaker offensive armaments, and the limited options for weapon customization, which in turn restricts the ship's potential for increased firepower. If we compare its firepower to that of Admiral Gorshkov and JS Mogami, which has firepower that is slightly weaker than that of Blue Shark, its firepower would still be weak, but not by a wide margin. In terms of anti-submarine capability, it's also decent, and it's also similar to that of Blue Shark. The ship's sonar range allows it to detect submarines at a considerable distance, and its torpedoes can deal a fair amount of damage to them, but the ship lacks a grenade launcher, making it highly susceptible to enemy torpedoes. However, unlike Blue Shark, you will permanently use a weak torpedo since it's locked onto the ship. In terms of survivability, it's moderate. Its durability is very low, comparable to that of Tier 3 frigates, which makes the ship vulnerable to serious damage. Moreover, its anti-air capability is quite weak, lacking the ability to effectively eliminate enemy aircraft and missiles. However, their impact on the ship is minimized by its incredible speed. The ship boasts an impressive speed that allows it to swiftly disengage from combat and take cover behind obstacles, outpacing both the Swordship and other fast ships in Tier 3, which kind of reduces concerns about its air defense and durability. Also, due to its speed, you don't have to worry much about torpedoes as they will have a hard time catching up with this ship, and you can easily dodge them and block them by utilizing the obstacles of the map. However, this advantage comes at a cost. The ship's high speed compromises its maneuverability, which hinders the ship from making turns quickly. The ship is best if used as a support ship. It's tough to go lone wolf with this ship because if you want to spot your opponent on your own, the ship must be the one who'll do the spotting since it doesn't have a reconnaissance aircraft, but its excellent speed and high spotting range kind of makes up for this. Moreover, its firepower isn't good enough to take on multiple opponents simultaneously all by itself, and it's difficult for the ship to maintain high health when attacked by fighters and bombers since they can easily harm the ship. Therefore, you must have a teammate that can assist you in your assaults and air defense if you wish to win the battle with this ship. However, if you're forced to fight alone with this ship, engage only in close and mid-range combat. Through this, you can inflict damage to the target quickly, and you'll be able to use your torpedo, which has a medium firing range. It's very important to be able to use all of its offensive armaments, as the firepower of the ship is not great. You wouldn't want to further weaken it if you wish to swiftly eliminate your target. Additionally, be very aware of your surrounding when using this ship to avoid collisions with obstacles. It can sometimes inflict greater damage than the opponent's weapons, and this might even lead to your defeat, which is quite an embarrassing way to lose. Also, you should do the hide and attack tactic with this ship, especially if you're forced to fight alone. This tactic works really well with this ship thanks to its incredible speed, and when it's effectively used, the ship can be a way more annoying threat to deal with than sword ship. Here is a summary of the advantages and disadvantages of the ship. Overall, Argonas is a pretty good ship, and I think it's worth having. While many of the ship's attributes are not very impressive, such as its firepower and anti-submarine capability, the speed of the ship is so great that it kind of compensates for most of these shortcomings. It is what made the ship quite effective in battle and even fun to use. The poor maneuverability of the ship does make it challenging to operate, but it's not impossible to overcome. I don't even think it's that hard to handle, as you just have to be aware of your surrounding to avoid collisions. If you're going to buy this ship, I recommend getting it now while the 90% discount offer is available, as it's much more worth it if you purchase it with that discounted price. Now, I'll leave you guys a video of the gameplay of the ship for you guys to see how it performs in battle, and that'll be it for today's video. Hopefully you guys like this video, and if you all did, please leave a like and subscribe to support me. Thank you so much for watching.
Captain has the con.